Oh, yes.
Welcome back, everyone. Today I'm bringing you a review for the new Marvel Legends Armadillo Build-A-Figure series, Black and Gold Suit Spider-Man. This figure, just like the one I reviewed before it, represents Spider-Man in his latest movie, Spider-Man No Way Home. And this black and gold suit, though it seems pretty generically named, is actually the magically infused suit that Doctor Strange gives Spider-Man to help track down the villains that have appeared throughout the multiverse. This figure also ends up coming with the left leg of the Armadillo Build-A-Figure, so a bit more of a value than the previously reviewed Spider-Man, who is just basically, as much as this, like just a Spider-Man figure with two optional hands. And I didn't feel great about it as far as, value. This guy, you're getting a bit more for your 20-something dollars. So, if you've seen my reviews before, you know this goes. We're going to take a look at Spider-Man's packaging, then we'll put it up. We'll see the figure itself, we'll get a quick look at the Build-A-Figure piece, and then we'll break into Spider-Man's posability, his accessories. Naturally, I'll be doing some group shots and comparisons today. And then at the end of the video, I'll give my final thoughts. So Spider-Man comes in your standard Marvel Legends packaging. You get the Build-A-Figure call-out up here, Legends logo, No Way Home logo. You get the name in several different languages. And then here we see Spider-Man. He's got what look like weapon holding hands, which are interesting because he doesn't come with anything to actually hold. Surprised they weren't closed fists, but that's what they went with. He also gets two additional web shooting hands and the big old leg of Armadillo. On the side, you get a close-up shot of Spider-Man's face with his black and gold suit. And then on the back, you have him, looks like he's swinging from a web, though you can't see it. And the flavor text reads, Spider-Man relies on his black and gold suit and abilities to defend against threats. I have to say, that is incredibly generic. Like, he relies on his black and gold suit. They don't tell you what the suit is, just it's a black and gold suit. I mean, we know, because we just talked about it. But he relies on a black and gold suit and abilities, just abilities, to defend against generic threats. I'm not gonna lie, it's one of the worst write-ups I've ever seen. Like, somebody was really phoning that one in. So, boo. Boo and hiss. That was bad. Alright, and then down here, we get to see a shot of Armadillo, along with the Wave Mates here, in the cross-cells. So we get the integrated suit Spider-Man that we just reviewed. This guy, Doctor Strange, J. Jonah Jameson, Miles Morales Spider-Man, and then the comic characters Mordoon and Shriek. So, pretty fleshed out wave. Naturally, it's mostly Spider-Man centered, but you get some, oddballs in there. Okay, now we have our figure in hand. So let's first look at the Build-A-Figure piece, just get that over with. So this is, like I said, the left leg for Armadillo, and you can see this is a big old meaty leg right here. This guy is not going to be small, which is good, right? Because my first Build-A-Figure was Rintra, who, I mean, he's bigger than most characters, but, I like when Build-A-Figures like really, really big, because then it feels like, something that you could really only get through this method, something like extra special. So when the BAF ends up being like a normal sized character, I tend to find that very disappointing. But this guy, he's gonna be a big old chungus, and I like it. So you can see he's got just a single knee bend right here that's ratcheted. He's got ankle rocking, and then he's got that standard ankle rotation you see on other Legends figures. And he's even got the little hole in the foot. I'm guessing, right, because like all these figures have the little holes in the feet. Those must be for like figure stands. I gotta figure out where to buy stuff like that. Like just, a flat little disc with a peg, just to help some figures stand up. And I would greatly appreciate having those for not just these, but also like my Motu figures, the Masterverse and Origin stuff, because some of those just don't like to stand up, especially the female characters with their little feet. Alright, so now we get a look at Spider-Man, and he is a very posable little figure. So he has the hinge and ball joint combo, unlike the other Spider-Man that was a double ball joint. So it can look around and then, tilt up and down. He's got the butterfly joints on his shoulders, and they get a lot more range than the previous Spider-Mans. They go way, way back here. Look at that. It's like really getting a good flex in there, so that's nice. Universal shoulders, bicep swivel. Mine unfortunately has a bit of red paint spatter right there, but nothing a little bit of rubbing alcohol can't remove. He's got the double bend elbows, which is nice. Universal wrists. He's got the ratcheted forward and back ab crunch right here. Got ratcheted hips, ratcheted waist. Universal hips, thigh swivel, double bend knees. then your standard ankle rocking and rotation. So he's got pretty much everything. Maybe he could have used a boot swivel, of course, then that, breaks up the calf area. I don't think they like to do that on characters that don't have, like, big boots. So, yeah, he's good, he looks good, he plays well. And then we get our 2 additional hands here, the more web-slinging type hands. So we can just go ahead and pop these guys off, which, again, like I said, they're kind of weapon-holding hands. I don't know why he has them. No clue. I also don't know why his forearms and, like, fingertips are red. Why are they red on this? I don't think they were red in the movie. They're not red in the renders here, like the CGI renders on the packaging. Do they turn red when they do so? I can't remember. It's been a little bit since I've seen it now. I don't know why they're red on here. It does look a little weird. I mean, it kind of helps break up the monotony of just all black with, like, gold webbing, but I don't know where that comes from. But I do like these hands. I like them better than the more generic ones that it comes packaged with. You can have them, web slinging and all that cool stuff. Yeah, he's just a Spider-Man toy, and he works very well as just that. And here's a group shot with the other Spider-Man in this wave, the integrated suit Spider-Man. Now, these are, the same character and the same version of that character, the Tom Holland Spider-Man. So it makes sense that they both end up being pretty much the exact same size, and they definitely nail that here. They're more or less identical in size, which I think is great, but at the same time, they don't seem to share any tooling at all. So to have, 2 figures that are made of completely different parts that end up looking like the same character, I think that's really good. I think they did a fantastic job there. I will say, I do prefer the hands on the integrated suit Spider-Man a little more than these. For one, he actually has closed fists instead of just like the weapon-holding hands that don't have anything to hold. And I also like his web-shooting hands a little more, the way the fingers just kind of stay like straight out instead of being kind of curled, almost like he's unsure or he's like mid-motion to go into that position. It's a little weird. And I will admit, if I had to pick a favorite between these two, I do really like the first one a lot more. It's more interesting to me. It's a very intricate suit design, lots of colors. That gold on red is really nice. This Spider-Man suit reminds me very much of some other stealth-based suits that he's worn in the past. And it doesn't really do enough to differentiate itself from those to make me feel like this is anything special. Almost kind of like retreading old ground there. It's not bad by any means, and it is a really nice plastic interpretation of how the character appeared on the screen. But as far as just, pure aesthetic appeal, I think he's a little bit lacking. And again, that's not really the toy's fault. It's doing what it's supposed to do. It's supposed to look like the character in that suit that's on screen. And I think maybe my criticism more is with the suit design. Even watching the movie, as great as it was, when he revealed that black and gold suit, I think my honest expression was kind of just, oh, that's it? Like, that's not that fancy looking. And you'd think, something coming from Doctor Strange would be a little more ornate. Maybe give him like a cape or pauldrons or something, but I don't know. So not my favorite suit design, but the toy does a fantastic job of capturing the design. So the toy itself is great. It's got all the posability. It's a really, really good complement to this version of the character. You can make like a little collage or something of scenes from the movie, and they'll look right at home, right next to each other. So I think it works in that regard. And this completes our look at the new black and gold suit Spider-Man. Overall, I think it's a very good Spider-Man toy. It hits all the necessary beats. He doesn't have the most accessories, but he does come with a pretty sizable Build-A-Figure piece to kind of even out the budget there. And, I think he's really cool. Again, in my opinion, not the most exciting spider suit that's out there, but that's not the toy's fault. It's just capturing what's on screen. So I think it would have been cooler if there was just a little more color breakup in there somewhere, or maybe some way to make the gold stand out a little bit more, because it's almost barely noticeable against the black. It's a pretty, I don't know, what's the word, tarnish shade of gold, and it doesn't stand out very well. But again, the figure itself is fine. It's a good complement to the integrated suit Spider-Man. And if you do, want to complete the Armadillo Build-A-Figure, it's one that you may want to look at picking up. Of course, that is just how I feel about this figure, so now I want to know what you all think of this toy. Do you think this is a good Spider-Man toy? Does it, check all the right boxes for you? Does it interest you with the suit design and everything? Or do you not like this? Either maybe just too many Spider-Man toys out there, you don't like the colors, you don't like the design, or something else about it that just might bother you? Any and all feedback is always welcome in the comments section. If you enjoyed this review, make sure to toss it a like. Let YouTube know you want to see more stuff like this. If you do want to see more like this, make sure to subscribe and hit that notification bell so you always get a heads up when I post something new. I thank you for joining me for this look at the new Marvel Legends Armadillo Wave Black and Gold Suit Spider-Man. And with all that said, I will see you next time.